Hi, welcome to Pace Crafty Creations. Thanks for taking time out of your day to hang out, chit chat, craft, and create with me. Today I'm coming on with hashtag Make Art with Martha. It's an open collaboration hosted by Martha Makes Art, where you create with the prompts that she gives you. And these are some of the previous ones. I still haven't decided if I like this one or not, but I'm going to keep it because it's in here and I like it so far. Each month I'm like, I think I'm going to change it, but I haven't. So today it's spice and apple. So I drew out on a piece of paper, sketched out, ow, a little star was stuck in there. It poked me. I sketched out what I want on my page. So I think I'm going to turn it this way, maybe. So I kind of sketched it out. I could take it and put it into the book right there, just glue it in and call it a day, but I'm not going to do that because I like the way this looks and I want to show you what I'm going to do with it. I like the way it looks, so I'm going to keep it, but I'm going to take my permanent marker and I'm going to go around it, everything that's on here, because I want to make some adjustments to the way things are and the way they look. So the permanent marker is going to be the way I do that, how I change things up, and then it stays on my drawing and I can reuse this if I choose to later by keeping it. I try and keep all my sketches like this, how I like things, how they look and stuff, and how I want them. So I thought I would share with this how I do that. So I'm going to shade a little bit here to kind of give that ruffly look. Then we're going to add a little bit more shading there. Follow the lines with my permanent marker. There's a little bit of shading in here as well, so let's add that. And then we have that perforation there, so I want to add a little bit to that so it kind of gives the look that it's all nice and shaded. Then let's go down here and we're going to go across that piece there because I do have some lines in here and I don't want those lines to show as much. So the first thing I want to do is get rid of those lines by using the marker to kind of go around everything. And then I'll take a eraser and I will use that eraser to eliminate all those marks that aren't where they're supposed to be. And that creates the depth of the apple there. And I went around that because I want to color that in with a permanent marker. But I'm not going to do that right now. I just want to give the appearance of that shading. And then we'll go ahead and shade that. And then I have apple spice in the jar. So let's go like this. Or I'm creating an apple spice in the jar. Kind of like what you would use for apple pie. And then I have seeds. It kind of looks like the star anise. Anise, is that what they call it? Anise. And then add some little darkness there. And this is our cinnamon stick. So create that little shading on the top there and all the way down as well. And then we have some apple slices. So we have peeling in the back. And then over here is another apple slice here. And then in the back here is some peeling. I'm just going to shade that in. And then there's another apple slice here. And we'll have like a seed there. And then we'll do the seed here as well. So you can see I have the basics of what I want. Now for some fun, we're going to transfer it. I don't have a transfer sheet, but there's a trick. Take your paper and turn it over. Having that permanent marker on there helps. And you're just going to take a pencil. Let me see if I have a better sharpened one. You're going to take your pencil and you're just going to go right across. Continuously do that. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have all my lead down. So it's pretty much creating a graphite paper in the background. And let's cut around that top part because we want to be able to have where we're going to be putting our piece. And then we're going to take a pencil. We're going to turn this because I want it like that, but I could also continue with the flow like that, and we'll just cut off a piece. So you can see it's not going to transfer until we put it down. I think I want more of the mason jar, so let's go like that. And then maybe, okay, we're going to go follow those lines that we have. And just follow every line. You want to hold your paper down. You can tape it in there as well, but hold your paper down. What I do most of the time is I will color in what I'm transferring. So when I transfer it over, I have the color scheme that I want. So like creating like a coloring book page, I'm giving myself the ability to know where I want to put what and what colors are going to go where. It's going to be faint when we get it on there though. I think we might only be able to do one apple. I don't know if the other one's going to work, but we're going to go to as far as the page as we can to get that other apple on there. And you can see it's very light, but we have a transfer of the image I created. Now we can go ahead with our marker or our pencil. I'm just going to use my pencil and fill it in. And I didn't add the little cross hatches because that's just an easy enough thing to do without, you know, without having them added. And then create that little bit there, follow that line across. And you're just pretty much sketching out what you already sketched out. And that's my sketch there, so we would fill that in. Not my sketch, but my little piece of shadowing. Then we have that line there. I didn't get to draw that part. And I'm just filling it in as I go, because I think I'm going to leave it black and white right now. I think I'm just going to not color it in at the moment. And I left out my star from my center here. I was like looking at it going, wait a minute, something looks off there. And that's part of the apple there. And that's the center of the apple. I was like, wait a minute, I left something out of my apple. There we go. So there's my apple spice. So I think, let's color it in actually. Let me grab my pencils. So we still have a few minutes. So let's grab a brown. And I want a good one. This one kind of looks like cinnamon. It's red umber. Kind of gives like a cinnamony vibe, right? Kind of. And then let's add that shading because it's like that roll. And then let's do some green, like Granny Smith apples. So we've got green there. And let's add a little bit of green here for like the peel. And we'll go around the edge of that one. And then let's color this in. And let's add more green to that. I'm using a drawing book, what I created with this, for my pieces here. So I created the book out of an old drawing book. So we have, it's more like watercolor kind of thing. So let's give a little bit of color to the flesh part. Most of apples are white, like a white color. So you can't really see it, but let's add that in as well. And then our jar is silver, like a white. So let's add a little bit of shading to kind of give that appearance of like it's a jar. You know what I mean? And then let's add a little bit up here as well. And then let's do a red piece of cloth here. So I'm just going to go in circular motions. And then kind of make it a little bit dark here in those folds. Like that. And then we want it a little bit darker on this fold here. And I apologize if I'm shaking my camera. It's on my desk, and my grips that hold the platform down don't work so well. So, and what color should we do that? Should we do brown for the rope? What color is this? There's no name on it. So let's do brown, like a ropey color. Like rope, and then we'll have it like on a counter. So let's grab that. Like wood counter type thing. Just like that. Take with our edge. Give it like a wood grain. And we're going to color in deep in some spots, like really dark, to give that appearance. And then in the jar itself, you need to add just a little bit, because it is on the counter and it's going to reflect that counter a little bit. So we need to add just a little bit, and then it's going to make it look like it's rounded as well. So you can see just a little. Take some gray, give it some shading right underneath that apple. We have another apple there. Grab that green back. Forgot we have another apple right there. And we need brown again because we have a stem on our apple here and here. But let's take that same brown and add to our wood grain on our countertop by going deeply in with some spots, just like that. And then add some dark shading in here as well, just a little bit to help with that fold. Kind of go over it a little, and then over here the same thing, a little bit with that fold, just to indicate a fold. Then under the rope, a little bit there, a little bit of shading there. Let's go a little bit darker where the fold is. And just like that, we have an apple with spice. We've created some apple spice. That is my little drawing. Thank y'all for hanging out with me while I created this. Thank you, Martha, for hosting this fun challenge. And if you're inclined to do so, please go check everybody out that she has in the collaboration. Everybody comes up with so many amazing different creations for their prompts. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.